The Xperia 1 Mark II is Sony's latest flagship and by far their best to date. But how does it stack up against Samsung's incredible Galaxy S20 Ultra? They are very similarly spec'd. Both of them are paired with Qualcomm's latest Snapdragon 865 processing chip run on 7nm plus technology. They both have UFS 3 storage and they both have LPDDR5 RAM, though the Samsung has 12 gigs of RAM here and the Sony has just 8. Here are the hardware specs. Feel free to hit pause for more information. We have updated the software on both fronts here, and we are keeping the Samsung to Full HD Plus so that we can enable the wonderful 120Hz refresh rate in order to test it against the motion blur reduction on the Xperia 1 Mark II. We're going to leave all animations disabled here in order to test out raw speed. Round 1 is going to be all about booting up the phone, going into the phone itself and doing a fingerprint unlock test. Round 2 will be all about initial opening of app speed, and round 3 will be all about RAM management. We're going to pop GoPro footage at the bottom left hand corner for accuracy. This is TechNick, and without further ado, let's go! Round 1 will start with a boot of here to see which one can get into the phone quickest. I have sped things up bottom right hand corner, 16 seconds for the Xperia as opposed to 22 seconds for the S20. First point there allocated to the Sony, and going into the phone itself, refreshing the app icons, Sony picks up its second point over there. Fingerprint sensors, we have a physical one on the side of the Sony as opposed to an ultrasonic one under the display of the Samsung. The Sony was quicker the first time, the Samsung was quicker the second time, and it was a draw the third time, so no points were allocated over here. Wrapping up round 1 over there with 2 points for the Sony as opposed to 0 on the S20. We have closed all apps in the background, and the first app that we have in round 2, the actual speed test, is the camera app, which the S20 Ultra opens up quicker. Flipping to the selfie cam though, strangely enough, the Xperia 1 Mark II opens that up quicker, and it also takes the snap quicker, saves the picture at the bottom right hand corner quicker than the S20 Ultra. Going into the photo app, the S20 Ultra was quicker, but it's not surprising since Sony is so stock Android. Its photos, calculator, as well as the phone app are all actual Google apps, since this is such stock Android. If they had actual system UI apps over here, it should be a lot quicker. It just sucks that Sony have scrapped quite a few of those and just opted for Google. But if you prefer a stock experience, then this is what you're going to get, and that is why Samsung is now sitting on 5 points as opposed to 2 on the Sony. Stay tuned guys, it gets really interesting down the line over here. Opening up speed check and internet speed test. We're going to speed things up at the bottom right hand corner in a second once the Sony gets underway, and we're going to test as soon as it shows the actual ping icon over there going to download and upload. We're not going to look at download upload speeds, we're just going to look at how long it takes to run this speed test, this internet speed test. That is 22 seconds for the Xperia, just a second quicker than that of the S20 Ultra, getting it its 4th point now in round 2. Now its 5th point after opening up Spotify, slightly quicker than that of the Galaxy S20 Ultra. And the next app that we have here, a little bit heavier to load, is Adobe Photoshop Express, which the S20 Ultra opens up quicker, getting it its 6th point now ahead of the Sony. Going into the actual photo, the Samsung was quicker as well. We're going to export it to gallery. Both have UFS 3 storage, so it was extremely similar there, pretty much exactly the same. No point was allocated there. Next app here is Adobe Premiere Rush over here, and going into Rush, the S20 Ultra opened it up quicker and went into the project quicker as well. Now we're going to export this 4K 25 frames per second clip, but we're going to compress it down to 1080p, match the frame rate of 25 frames per second, and go ahead and export to see which one can do it quicker. I've sped things up once again at the bottom right hand corner over there, and we're going to see which one comes in first place here, and it is indeed the S20 Ultra with 19 seconds, just a second quicker than that of the Xperia, since they are both paired with wonderful UFS 3.0 storage. The next app that we have here is Astral VPN. We need a VPN here in China in order to open the next run of apps, and the Xperia 1 Mark II opens that one up quicker. They turn them on at pretty much the same speed. First social media app here that we have is Facebook. The S20 Ultra actually opened it up quicker, but the Xperia loaded the page quicker, so neither point was allocated. The Xperia though did open up Instagram faster. Twitter was way too close to call over there, so no point was allocated. So far 10 points for the Samsung as opposed to 7 on the Sony. Going into YouTube, the Samsung opened it quicker, but once again the Sony loaded the page quicker, so no point was allocated. But going into my channel over here, the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II opens that up slightly quicker, getting it its 8th point, now just 2 points behind that of the Samsung. Going into a video, they both started playing at the same time, but the Sony loaded the page once again slightly quicker than the Samsung, getting its 9th point, now just 1 point behind the Samsung over here. Going into our next app, which is indeed Netflix, loading the actual profile icons, the Xperia did a better job, and it went into my profile slightly quicker than the Samsung as well, now pulling ahead of the Samsung, but the Samsung quickly pulled back one after opening up Chrome, now making it 11 points apiece. First game over here out of 4 is Subway Surfers. We're going to see which one can go into it quicker. It is indeed the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II, or should I say PS5 of the future. So nevertheless, games are slightly opening up faster on the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II. You'll see what I mean now. Going into flip diving, just a hair of a second quicker on the Xperia, though it does pick up its 13th point, now 2 points ahead of that of the S20 Ultra. Our next app that we have here is indeed Temple Run 2. A lot longer to load than the previous one, so I sped things up a bit and then slowed it back down, and once again the Sony Mark II gets it a 14th point there, as opposed to the 11 points on the S20 Ultra, now 3 points ahead. Most graphics intense, longest loading game is indeed PUBG Mobile. I'm sure many of you guys play it. I personally love the game. Same speed, 16.4 seconds. I couldn't believe it. Very close there. No points was allocated. Closing down round 2 with 14 points on the Xperia, as opposed to 11 on the S20. Now we're testing out RAM management. Remember, we have 12 gigs on the Samsung as opposed to 8 on the Sony over here, and they're all keeping every single app open. A couple system apps closed, but they're both closed on both devices exactly, so no points were allocated. Only if one phone keeps an app open and the other one kills it, then I allocated points, but if they both kill it, I don't, and if they both keep it open, I don't either. So 12 gigs, 8 gigs of RAM. Go check my RAM management test out on my YouTube channel after this video, and make sure that you hit that subscribe button as well. I explain why there is not much of a difference between 8 and 12 gigs of RAM. Total score here, 16 points for the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II, as opposed to 11 for the S20 Ultra. Just a 5-point difference over here, but if we look at just raw speed, which is all about round 2 over there, the Sony got 14 points as opposed to 11 points on the S20 Ultra, just 3 points ahead. They're very similarly priced phones, so it just comes down to personal preference, guys. I personally love both of them for different reasons. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did making it, and until next time, this is TechNick.